Hey guys, welcome to this twin test, ALPINA B4 S, which I'm driving at the moment, and BMW M4 competition pack that's in front of me that has my buddy Baby Gorilla driving. So, what are the main differences between these two cars? They're totally different animals. You get in the M4 in front and it feels alive, it shouts. In fact, it shouts before you even get in the car. You know, it's got a Larry big body kit on it, specific wings and bonnet. It looks menacing, it looks like the animal that it is. Whereas this ALPINA doesn't shout so much, but in application it does a very similar job. Now both cars are priced at low 60s. The M4's 64, the M4 competition pack is 64 grand. This one's £1,000 cheaper at 63. They both have LSDs, they both have 3 litre straight 6 twin turbo engines, and they both produce around 450 horsepower, give or take. Now, this ALPINA has got about 20% more torque than the M4, but it also weighs about 100 kilos more.
It's incredible how, from one basic kind of element of 4 Series BMW, two manufacturers can come to, you know, create such different packages for the same end, which is to go really, really quickly, and they both do that spectacularly well. In comparative terms, they're chalk and cheese, and that's not to presuppose one way of doing things better than the other. What you find with the M4 is a car that's undoubtedly more focused towards aggression and outright speed, and the one thing that you'd say about the experience of it overall is it's a lot more visceral than the experience that you'll possibly get from the ALPINA.
When you get in to drive them both, this car just feels like a very comfortable 4 Series with a very sorted suspension, typically ALPINA. But when you really start pushing on, that very sorted suspension, it does feel initially a little bit soft for such a high performance 190 mile an hour car. All that suspension does, and all that amazing technology and time that they've spent perfecting it, it just gives so much grip. The tyres just dig into the tarmac. Now this has got the brilliant Michelin PS4 S's, and they're mega. Had them in the rain yesterday, torrential, and I was just blown away by the grip that they found in the wet, in the slimy conditions. They were just brilliant. And I know Aaron in that car is probably having to push it very hard to try and drop me, and it probably feels 20% faster in that car because it's very edgy, it's very loud, and you know, there's the fakery around the cabin, whereas this thing, all organic sounds. It's just mega, this car, it really is. I can see the M car moving around, whereas this thing just grips. It's just brilliant. It's really, really good. And out here on the Welsh roads, it's just perfect. On the track, I think the M4 would have me for sure. feel I'm rolling around a lot more than he is. But what a car. I wonder how he's getting on.
Ultimately, they're both wonderful in their own way. They really are. And when I say they couldn't be more different, I genuinely do mean that. I mean, funnily enough, driving the M4 a little bit earlier with Joe, just, you know, going a little bit cross country, not at any particular pace. It can be a compliant vehicle. You always have that noise in the background. You have that slight firmness of the kind of aggression of the package that always kind of sets it apart. But whereas that's, you know, perhaps an additional positive that you didn't expect from the M4, what you get in the Alpina is that may well be its, you know, it's coup de grace. Like the very fact that it is so effortless, the very fact that it could be any other car, is certainly got to be part of the attraction of the package. You know, for all intents and purposes, you're driving around in a green BMW 4 Series, and were it not for those 4 epic pipes at the rear, you could be mistaken for driving anything else through the range. But put your foot down and you are going to trouble some serious exotica, because it's just so quick.
Right then, we're in the M4 competition pack now, guys. This is the LCI version, so it's the very latest 2017 car. Now I think the M3 and M4 and the F80 generation, it's a car that's been tweaked and honed, and it's got better and better, and every time I try one, if it's a newer car, it just feels better. And this very latest one definitely feels like the most sorted car. Now, like all M3 and M4 of the current generation, it does suffer from traction issues. It's very edgy. It's a very edgy car. Even in the softest settings, it's quite an edgy car. And that kind of leads me on to the traction control settings. Now, I just don't think the M department get the traction control settings. They just don't seem to calibrate them very well. With everything on, it's just very intrusive. In MDM mode, that only works when the tyres are really warm and when the car is on track, but otherwise, to me, it's just so intrusive. Like, I'm in MDM now, I'll turn into here, put my foot down, nothing. There's not even an inch of slip. Now, that's just not right for me. So your only option in an M car, if you want to drive it really fast, is turn everything off, and then they become quite dangerous. You need to really know how to drive.
One thing that's quite funny is stepping out of the M4 and then getting into this is a point that you really got to kind of reset everything about your perception of distance and power, because it is that different a product from the M4 that you've kind of got to reacclimatise yourself for a minute when you get back sitting into this. This is an undeniably quick car, but I think it's probably more in the guise of a sports tourer or GT car than necessarily an out-and-out sports car that you're getting from the package of the M4.
It seems to be a hell of a lot of initial torque, and a lot of that is down to the way the throttle is calibrated. Like in many M cars, especially when you put it in the more aggressive modes, you get about 40% of power with 10% throttle travel, if that makes sense. So the car feels a lot more powerful than it maybe is, whereas the Alpina is massively linear. 10% throttle, 10% power, 50% throttle, 50% power, whereas in this, 10% throttle is 30 or 40% power. If I put a passenger in this car and took them up and down this bit of road, they would think this was the faster car because of the drama that comes with it and the sound. Now, a lot of that sound's orchestrated around the cabin. It's not genuine sound, and you know, it's got a very trick exhaust in it that gives nice cracks and pops as you're driving along. But I don't mind the sound in this. You know, I think it's actually pretty good. Yeah, it puts a smile on my face. That's the most important thing.
The ride that you experience in the Alpina is unrivaled. It really does offer both a sense of purpose, but also some security. But you know, it's pliant. It's, you know, it's smooth. It's not crashing you around everywhere. You're not feeling every single tremor in the road. You've got a good sense of involvement through the wheel, which, you know, in truth, you don't really get so much from the M4. But it allows you to kind of, you know, take on the roads without kind of feeling that you're trying to rein anything in too much at the time. Power delivery is nice.
Now, where the M car really comes alive is when you start really pushing on. So let's just have a proper drive now. The brakes are brilliant. Like, you can come flying into here. Traction issues. I'm in MDM mode and look, foot on the floor, nothing. And then it comes through. Red line, 7,000 revs. It's very, very planted. And you can feel this 100 kilos lighter than the Alpina when you start pushing on roads like this. You come in here on the brakes. On a road like this, when you're attacking, it's the better car to be in. You know, it really is. In these conditions. And because the road surface is just brilliant, it's very smooth. If it was a rough road and tricky conditions, the Alpina would be the better car. And on the typical A or B road, the Alpina is the better car. And if I was doing a rally stage or a time stage, I would rather be in the Alpina. I'd be more confident that I would get down the road quicker, although it wouldn't feel quicker. I just would, for sure. This is just great, isn't it? Just brilliant. Trail braking. I have to say there's not much feeling through the wheel. There's much more steering feel in the Alpina. It's a numb steering, and the F80s do suffer from that.
It's a quick car. You move across the tarmac at such speed, but safe in the knowledge that you're still kind of kept into the confines of what the car's able to do. You know, you never feel like you're on the, you know, limits of adhesion, or that the car's looking to kind of spit you off into the distance. You can take some liberties with it, sure, but there isn't that kind of, not sense of worry that you might perhaps experience with the M4, but that sense that you've got to try and rein something in, that you're trying to control something that might otherwise kind of spit you out the other side.
I need to come up with some kind of conclusion about both of these cars. I mean, that's the point of this test, right? And I'm an honest guy, and I love both brands. But honestly, I don't think there really is a winner as such. I think both cars have their own merits. Both cars, they're totally different cars, totally different animals. If you were to jump into this M4 initially, you would think it was the more aggressive, much faster, special car, if you like. But when you spend more time in the Alpina, you begin to realise that actually that has got so many merits. Like, it is so good at so many things. It's definitely the better all-round car for sure. And again, initially you see where the money is in this car, but it's not until you own the Alpina for a while and you understand and you appreciate the suspension and the quality, the time and the effort that's gone into perfecting that car, that you really appreciate the fact that it is the same price as this M4 competition. I think the M4 is going to appeal to the younger audience because it looks more aggressive and you can kind of immediately see where your money's gone. You get that sound. Whereas the Alpina's probably going to appeal to, yeah, the slightly older, more mature audience like myself. I think if it was my money, I would probably have the Alpina, but 10 years ago, I would have had this. But I think sometimes this is just a bit too much. I can turn everything down, so there you go, put it back into drive, everything into comfort, and it gets quieter, but it's still, I can feel it's on its toes. It's still there going, come on Joe, come on, let's drive. Whereas the Alpina, you put it into drive, you put it into comfort, and it just settles down and it just turns into the most amazing GT car. Whereas this thing, it's always sort of up, it's always ready to go, which is a good and a bad thing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to sit on the fence with this one, I really am. I'd like to thank Aaron for coming out and being, you know, my wingman. Obviously I'd like to thank Alpina, who are just brilliant with me, always give me cars. I would like to thank Tony Lewis and Very BMW for giving me this fantastic BMW M4 Compact. Finally, just wanted to say a big thank you to the two guys that travelled up from Bristol today, NFox TV, links below, and his buddy For The Drive YouTube, again links below. He came along and he's assisted him with extra shots as well. So I couldn't be more thankful for that, because I'm sure they've really helped make this video awesome. That's it guys, thanks a lot for tuning in as always, thanks a lot for watching my stuff. I hope you enjoyed this one. I certainly did. I really have enjoyed driving both cars. Right, I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Okay, so Alpina D3.